Hello my friends, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. This is Jennifer. I am super happy to share with you guys that I had a wonderful thrift shopping expedition with a friend last week. We went to Austin Creative Reuse. I've mentioned it before here on Talk to Me Tuesday, but it is essentially a thrift store that's all craft supplies. So they just moved to a bigger location a little bit further south from where they were before, and we went over to check it out, and the location's great. It's much bigger than the old one. It's super well organized, very easy to find things, great signage, and it was packed. The parking lot was packed. There were lots of people there. So of course I immediately went to look at the fabric, and there's pretty much everything you can imagine. Just think about your stash and what it would be like if somebody reorganized it for you. Fat quarters are 75 cents a piece, and they are at least a fat quarter. It's a fat quarter and sometimes a little bit more. So I went through and I found all kinds of great stuff. These are the fat quarters I got. A lot of them are more than a quarter, and I just had so much fun digging through all the bins. I found fossil fern, I found batiks, I found Moto marbles, and of course I got all of those, and then I got a little bit of Winnie the Pooh. This is one I really like. This one I'm adding to. I have a little collection that I'm coordinating to make sewing machine covers, so that's what this was going to be eventually. And just really fun. 75 cents a piece, guys. 75 cents a piece. I also got a bag full of orphan blocks, and these were ends of strip piecing and a few blocks, and I've actually already squared everything up as square as I can until I get it to the next step. And I actually picked this all up because the one super funky sort of 1970s block was on top, and the whole bag was $2, and I was like, you know what, I want that one block for me and the rest can go on Linus. And so I just picked the whole thing up, and it's all on my design wall right now. The other thing that I found that I was super delighted by was this quilt top you see over my shoulder. It was just a quilt top. The quilt top was finished mostly. There are a couple places where the applique hadn't been finished. It's entirely machine applique, and I would say based on the applique, it got better from like the corner up, like as it was being built, the applique got better and better. So I have a feeling it was a class or a skill building project or something like that. Because of that, I decided that I would use it as a skill building project. So the person that I went with really liked the quilt top, and this is quilt store fabric. Like some of this fabric, so like this pale border here, I have that in a different color in my Princess Bride quilt, so I know this is quilt store fabric. I recognized almost all of it. So much work had already gone into this that I just decided that I was really going to make an effort with the quilting and do as many different types of designs as I possibly could. So I learned about planning ahead, which is a thing I don't do very often when I'm quilting because I usually do one thing all over. I did swirls in the border, and then I did baubles that I cannot remember the name of in this little narrow border all the way around, just like little ovals, like pebbles, but stacked on top of each other. I did a small meander or stipple in the background of these. I outlined all of the appliques, and then these little standalone guys like right here, some of those were not stuck all the way down, so I turned them all into flowers. So I put little petals on the edge, and then I did something inside so that the applique wouldn't come off. Had a great time with this. I feel like I learned a lot. I normally edge to edge pretty much everything, just free motion quilt. I mean, I don't have a computerized machine. I don't have rear handlebars, so I'm not doing pantographs or anything like that. I'm doing it all free motion, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things to get to do, but I don't often challenge myself to try something new, so I really did, and I enjoyed that a lot. And planning ahead was a big one because of these. I tried not to quilt over these motifs here, these guys, so I would go around them, and then I would have to figure out how to get back around without overlapping too much, and I did try to continuously quilt as much as possible. I quilted the entire thing in a pale blue thread with a pale blue bottom line thread on the back, and part of the back is actually part of the back left over from my Princess Bride quilt. The binding is actually Stonehenge that Amber had given me, and I had about 3/4 of a strip left over by the time I was done. It was perfect. It worked out great. It was named Baubles and Branches by my friend who who is going to receive this quilt, and it's a comfort quilt for this person, and I'm delighted to be able to now wash it and give it away. Last week I mentioned I had finished a quilt top, and I'm going to show that to you guys. I don't normally bring these outside. I normally just do like big finishes out here because it's a little more effort to come outside to record. But because I mentioned it and I haven't shown it yet, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you now. This is, believe it or not, an orphan block quilt, and the centers on all of these are the orphan blocks. And then I put the borders around here. So you can see how I just tried to make them all work together. I've already pulled it back for this, but I'm going to put it out with my giant collection of orphan block quilt tops that are for Linus. I am already ahead of schedule for this year, so I'm probably only going to get one Linus quilt turned in this month, but I also have a ton of stuff that Jennifer gave me, and I have one from Laura Schaffstall, and I am going to show those to you guys next week, because like next week I will not have access to my sewing room, so I'm going to do a whole separate video later this week for next week, so that there will still be a video even though I won't be around, and then all of those quilts will go to Linus, not this weekend, but the next weekend. So I think that's going to be it for me. You guys have a very wonderful week. You have a crafty week. Stop by Fandom and Stitches tomorrow for more Kingdom Hearts, and I will see you next week. Bye.